Well, it's a bit of a later start this evening, ladies and gentlemen. We do apologise, but finally we are here. Twitch was playing Silly Budders, but we defeated the Silly Budders, and we are here. Good evening, and welcome to the FPRL Main Tier Championship, Tier 2. This is round number 14, if I'm correct. Probably not. Till like round 15 of our main tier championships, and we are here in Holland, the beautiful Zandvoort circuit. I say it's beautiful simply because I won my race round here. Casual flex, but I don't care. And you will see as well we have a short qualifying this evening because the tier 2s are absolute frauds and no one decided to race. So I would say it gives them more of a chance to catch up to the championship leader Pines, who actually missed last week's race around Belgium, but in the weird circumstances, he didn't actually lose any ground. So he's got all that more to lose this evening, and yep, nothing really more to say regarding that, but hopefully timing's right and they have returned. I am joined this evening by the lovely voice of Monkey Boy Kurt, who I believe has went and it's just came back.
Hello
There you go.
everyone. Hello. How are we doing tonight? Should be still a good qualifying session. Only 15, but it means that everyone's got to get their best laps in as soon as possible. Dry session, and I believe Yorkie's actually just dropped out, so we'll get him an invite back in. But yeah, Cruiser, it's going to be obviously only 18 minutes to see who gets pole. I'm pretty sure it's going to be very tight. We've got a couple of tier threes racing tonight, Diamond as well. And let's see how he matches up to these tier 2 drivers.
Yeah, of course it didn't go to plan for Diamond in the tier 3 race. I'm not complaining too much because I caught up with him in the championship, but that's another topic for another day. And as we see, the tier 3 championship leader heading out on track now, and as you said, Kurt, how he can compare to the tier 2 drivers, because potentially this could give him a little bit of an insight as to what is in store for him for the following season if he does indeed make the cut to the higher tier. And as well, mention too a couple of tier 3 drivers. We've got Jack in the field this evening as well, and we've also got the return of Twins in that Mercedes, and as well Tidjum, who actually raced in the tier 1 races last night. Didn't fare too badly actually, got a couple of points for the Aston Martin team, and hoping to pick up a few more points as well with their Constructors' Championship fight with McLaren. And in an odd turn of events, we only have one car from each team, so all the more pressure on both Tidjum and Silverside Boy in that McLaren to gain some points for the Constructors' Championship and take that advantage into the remainder of the campaign.
Yeah, as we've already said in obviously the tweet, and just now 4 points is the gap, and TJ and Silverside Boy will be definitely looking to try and keep the lead. Well, TJ to keep the lead and Silverside Boy to take the lead in that championship. They're also both still pretty close in the championship as well. IFC Pines still leads the championship after last week. Now they're really the top contenders, scored points. Shadow sits, I believe, 12 points behind. So there's always that possibility that he could overtake him tonight. Snedden does not race and 26 points behind, so a full race win and obviously fastest lap point if he was to get maximum points and Pines score nothing would be Phenom, who is currently 26 points behind. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting session, and I'd like to see Jack as well have a good one at his home track.
Definitely, we do wish him good luck also. And Diamond on the first flying lap of the evening, as we mentioned, aforementioned already. Short qualifying, so just a single 18-minute session, so equivalent of Q1, but there's probably no time to waste. Drivers need to get their banker lap in as soon as they can, but Diamond on an absolute flyer here up to the line, and it's already into the 111s, a 111.5 for the Ferrari, and more leader on a 112.0, and Jack as well on a 111.2, so that's definitely a time that I think that Alpine will be happy about and happy for.
Yeah, Jack obviously loves his track. Obviously his home track. Every year we've been here, or every season we've been here on the previous games, he's done well. So I definitely think he's going to be in for a good one tonight, providing he can keep it on the track in the race. A few more times now coming through. Borley's gone up to second. Genuvain into fourth. Shadows into fifth. But yeah, Diamond at the moment. We know he's a tier 3 driver at the moment and probably is tier 2 pace as the season's gone on. But yeah, a very good time at the moment in third place. A whole half a second ahead of his teammate, More Leader.
Edo now up to the line, and Hero's second place on a 111.4 as Silverside Boy just begins their lap their lap now, along with LWS Yorkie, of course, rocking the fishy helmet, famous for Team Fishface. But less said about that the better, because we don't want any more trains for the remainder of the evening. But we'll jump over to IFC Pines, the championship leader, and a purple Sector 2 for that Mercedes. It's going around the stadium sector now before these final few corners. Turn 14, careful to avoid the curb on the inside, and then the long banking of turn 15, NASCAR-esque for these drivers, and up to the line for Pines. And it's a 110.9, so that is already the Mercedes putting his claim in for an early pole position candidate.
Yeah, great time from Pines. That would have actually gone into the top 10 of Tier 1 last night. That's on the first run, so a very good time there from him. 2 and a bit temps quicker than anyone else. Yorkie obviously raced last night. Didn't fare too badly actually against the Tier 1s, and he goes up to P3. Silverside Boy has gone and spun it at the second to last corner. Clearly has got a curb. And actually spun it in exactly the same place that he cursed Scotsman the other night. So he'll have to either come into the pits now or go again. I'm pretty sure. No, I thought he might have gone in there, but he's going to stay out for another run.
Fair enough, a little bit of a foreshadow for Silverside Boy, dropping it at the second to last corner, and as you said, rather synonymous for him cursing Scotsman in the Tier 3 race. And looking at our Twitch chat as well, we've got a good evening to Tiddlewink and the Drinks Redemption courtesy of Diamond. So thank you for that, lads. We'll get that sorted at the end of our qualifying session, as we see TS9 in that Williams just heading out for their first out lap, and another Tier 3 driver hoping to make a claim for Tier 2. And at the end of the first exchanges in qualifying, we've seen as well LWS Yorkie up in third on a 111.4, immediately displaced by Genuvain, as I mentioned, that on a 111.3. So we're seeing quite a few close times, and at the first exchanges and first little spars in Q1, it's Pines leading the way by 0.3 of a second to Klutschak.
Yeah, I feel still think there's some time to come from some of these guys. I think Shadow, obviously, down there in ninth at the moment, has probably got a bit of time to find. Same with Phenom. Those two sort of championship contenders at the moment. Silverside Boy, obviously, is not a respectable time at the moment, so he will have another go. And yeah, I think Borley and Tiddlewink got some good times there of 11.5s. But we know our closest tier is Cruiser. We've obviously watched and commentated on it many times before, and we definitely know that anything can still happen. Definitely amongst his pack. I wouldn't want to predict a pole at all yet.
Of course, with 10 minutes to go, it's still plenty of time, and plenty can happen. And hopefully for TS9, it all, as we got Pines in the chat saying, Zandvoort, when you hook it up, it is a lovely track. And we've got quite a few drivers hoping to hook it up nicely for, in TS9's case, his first lap, and for the likes of Silverside Boy, Twins, and Tijim, I would say as well, to hook it up nicely and get a decent lap in to try and challenge the top half of the standings, as we just follow TS9 going through the end of Sector 2. And it's going to be a 49.9 second sector split, so that's actually up there with some of the faster times in this in the early stages of this session. And just going around the final few corners now for TS9. Eyes dot on the curb, spun it round, and what was looking to be a good lap there for the Williams, it's just unravelled at the closing stages. But still, he does have a bit of confidence, I think, going into the final few exchanges in qualifying, as he gets that Williams facing it the right way and I'm sure it will just go diving right into the pits as we've got the Alfa Romeos behind of Phenom and Bolly just about to start their second lap now. And I think a few team games here for the Alfa Romeo. Bolly giving a little bit of a slipstream there to Phenom, hoping it isn't getting his way, as Phenom actually in a flying lap there on a 111.1, so he's getting that bit ever closer to Pines, but still 2 tenths behind that Mercedes.
Yeah, well, I expected that from Phenom. He was at 11.6, and I definitely thought he had some pace in him. He's definitely just proven it. Half a second quicker on that lap, just gets the gap a little bit closer to Pines, and just commenting back on TS9. Yeah, that was a good lap for the Tier 3 driver, obviously coming in tonight. I think last night in Q1, the Tier 1s, especially, well, as myself anyway, was sort of looking at around a mid 49 to a 50 split time in sector 2, and he was at a 49.9, so it did look like a good lap. It was just unlucky he got on the curb in that second to last corner, which definitely just throws you around, even if you're on full traction. That can take you off course. He'll come into the pits and go out again, but there is potential there for the TFE driver. I think he might actually might do if he gets another good lap in. Surprise a few people here.
Seen Silverside Boy as well. He has improved his time to a 1:12.1, and can't really see how much time is left in this session, but with Pines going back out for a second lap, this could be a bit of a sighter lap before the final runs in the closing stages, as we've got a slow-moving Mercedes of twins. Must have made a mistake somewhere going around turn 9, as there we go, doing a bit of a drift is the Mercedes, and with just under half of the time left, as Tiddlewink, as we just see twins go spinning once more, Tiddlewink on a 110.8. And we've seen as well, Tiddlewink's qualifying pace is definitely up there with some of the faster drivers, and he's put his name in the mix now and said to Pines, Pines, okay, let's see what you can do.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have to say, I know he's quick, but that surprised me actually from Tiddlewink. That's a very good time of a 10.8. I have to say that might be quite difficult to beat actually. I know Pines has got good quality pace. TJ now coming across the line does improve to an 11.3, which is actually quite good for the TJ. Up into 7th place now, so into the top 10 he goes. A few more people coming across the line. I think Eagles on down. Sorry, closing lap, and Junior Vane now up into 2nd place with a 10.9 as well. So those times slowly starting to come down as the drivers get used to the track in this one session, as David Lowface is in the chat with a big heya.
And a good evening to yourself, David, as we've got a spinner at the exit of turn 4. It looks like one of the Alfa Romeos, and I think it was Bolly. Might have just been staying out of the way of everyone. Thankfully wasn't on a flying lap, unlike TS9, but compared to his first lap, we will leave him to it just in case history does repeat itself. Tidgham on a bit of a cool-down lap as well. And Edo, though, is on a flying lap, as we've got a static Mercedes at the exit of turn number 10. I think that could be twins. That's actually not twins, excuse me. That is Pines. I think just staying out of the way of the Alpha Tauri. And as we saw as well, Edo was up, but only marginally up on his time. Just going through the final few corners now for the Alpha Tauri. We'll jump on board and just see the banking that these drivers get. And Edo backing off of that particular lap. He wasn't going to improve, but just 5 minutes left to go. Looks like most of these drivers in the pits getting ready for the final runs in this short qualifying session.
Yeah, I've been riding on board with TS9. He was a bit further down in his time this time around, but it still looks okay. It's up to P12, and at the moment he's ahead of 3 Tier 2s. And Twins has got okay, how's Twins got that? Slowing down maybe? He was in the pit lane.
Oh.
The only thing I can assume is that he's slowed right down maybe, and the game's accused him of blocking Silverside Boy on the pit exit. But yeah, maybe a bit of a bug there from Codemasters. I don't think that's warrant of a 5 base grid penalty, to be honest.
As reliable as always is Codemasters, and as reliable as always is the usual feeling of being up on your time and making a mistake, which is what I believe happened to Pines when we were spectating Eagle. Saying in the chat there, a nice little 2/10 up spin. So I actually spelt it as Zbin. Good old Zbinala. And yeah, we got a few drivers just backing off in the middle sector, hoping to get some clear track. And
Junuvane spun it.
oh dear. What's happened to Junuvane? Yeah, we just see him there, exit of the stadium, and he's stuck his nose in a place where it shouldn't be, and that is in the barriers. So Junuvane was looking really strong though in this qualifying session, and at 110.9, currently second place. That's all he's going to get in this qualifying session. But that's still a really strong time that I don't see many drivers beating, even though the gap between Junuvane and Phenom is a little over 2/10, but still 2/10 around this track is very difficult to find and make up.
Yeah, it is, but we're riding. Well, I'm riding on board with Phenom now. He is just under a 10.5 up, so he will put himself at the moment up into around the top 3. It depends what he can do through this final sector. Gets a good run out of the second to last corner, around the bank curve towards the line. Is this going to be pole position? It's not, and it puts him up to 4th, 9 thousandths behind 3rd place at the moment, IFC Pines.
Just looking as well through the order, I think Bolly made a mistake going through the middle sector as well and had to back off of that lap. And with just 3 minutes left, he might have one more chance to get a set of softs on and go for that final lap. And I think TS9 is going to go for that final lap, also backing off. Through the banking, and just a few yellow flags, but nothing really too worrisome. And Silverside Boy up by 3/10 on their current lap, so a lap that he really needs to get on the board. And it's a 111.8. That's only 12th place for the McLaren.
Yeah, he'll want to improve on that still. TS9 into the pits as well as Twins. It's going to be tight. They've got 2 minutes 18, and we know this lap's around 1 minute 10, so they've really got to get in and get out. I think Twins is probably done, to be honest. TS9 might have time to get in. Shadow will not have time, and the other Williams, he will probably start either 11th or lower, which is not great, obviously, for the driver that's second place in the championship, because he won't have time because of TS9. The mechanic's putting his car away. TS9 really needs to get out of there right now. I don't know if he's going to have enough time to get in. More leader coming towards the line. Goes 13th for a 111.8. But yeah, I think some of the drivers here, they're not going to be coming out again. TS9 still not in the pit lane, so I think that is his qualifying done.
Just a little under 2 minutes left, and we're seeing a bit of a flurry now in the pits, and that's a bit unfortunate there for one of the Williams having to get held up for the Alfa Romeo, and Twins is going to come back out, so he might have one more chance after all. And again, just trying to scroll through the order and see who is on a fast lap. I think everyone is just backing off before their final run, as Tijim has retired in the pits, Shadow's retired in the pits also. So they will not make any more improvements on P10 and P11 respectively. But I think there's going to be quite a few eyes on the top here. We've got Tiddlewink still leading the way, with Junuvane not able to catch him, but Pines is able to try and catch Tiddlewink. He needs to find a couple of tenths though on his lap. We've got Klutschjack as well, about to start their final lap now. We've got 30 seconds left for everyone to cross the line and start their final runs in this short qualifying session, and Pines hoping to make this lap as short and as fast as possible, just going up towards turn 9 and turn 10. Careful to avoid the inside curb here, just kisses the white line in the middle apex, and now the short DRS run towards the stadium sector, and he's up by a tenth. This is going to be very, very close here as the checkered flag falls. Tiddlewink is not going to improve on their run, so it's a 110.8, which is the benchmark for Pines to beat. Just going through the final few corners now is the Mercedes. Is he close enough to Tiddlewink? He's taking the shortest run as he can through the banking and up to the line now for the Mercedes, and he's done it, a 110.8, 13 thousandths of a second ahead of Tiddlewink and that's Pines taking provisional pole here in Zandvoort. But Klutschak on a purple middle sector here, he could challenge the Mercedes going up towards the final corner as Silverside Boy. Another mistake, that's meant Klutschak to the back off a little bit. But going through the banking, it's going to be a short run through the banking and up to the line for the Alpine. Is he going to displace Pines? He's just missed it, another 110.8. But 8 hundredths down on Pines, and the top three here separated by almost nothing. But Pines takes everything in qualifying, with Tiddlewink in second, Klutschak a really strong performance as well in third, and Junuvane falling down to fourth, and Phenom in fifth. Edo taking sixth place for the AlphaTauri team, LWS Shorty as well in seventh. Bolly now trying to improve, doesn't improve, and takes eighth. But that was certainly a frantic ending to this qualifying session in Zandvoort, in which Pines takes another pole position.
Yeah, what another fantastic session here from the Tier 2s. As we can see from the times, the top five within 2 tenths. It's just so close in this Tier 2, and Pines with a great lap there at the end to displace Tiddlewink off pole position, 13 thousandths, and Klutschak had a good go at it as well. Obviously, I've already said it is home track. He does love the track, and he will start P3, just 75 thousandths behind Pines he was, and I don't know whether he maybe had to lift off slightly for Silverside Boy spinning. As regards to the guys out of the top 10, Shadow will not be happy with starting 11th, and his title rival Pines in first. Silverside Boy won't be happy with 12th, and I think the other three, More Leader, TS9 and Twins, you could maybe expect to be down there. But yeah, what a great lap from Pines, and definitely one of the quality masters of Tier 2 cruiser.
Certainly proving a master at his work here, and it's just another day at the office for Pines, and I believe that is his fourth pole of the season. I'm not too sure, do not quote me on that stat, that's never my forte. And Pines as well saying in the chat, an oversteer at the exit of turn 1 cost him a tenth of a second, so it was definitely a lot closer than what Pines would have wanted. But still, pole is pole position, as Charles has left the session. Let's hopefully get him back before the start of the race now. So a quick reminder for everyone in the lobby, do not ready up before the lobby host, as this is just a quick intermission period for everyone to get a quick stretch break or get a quick drink break in before 36 laps around the Zandvoort circuit. So the most laps of any race in the calendar for this season, if I'm correct. So everyone has got to really knuckle down, and a track as well, which I find kind of similar in a bit of a hybrid sense towards Monaco and Silverstone. Of course, it's a very, very fast track, but it's a very narrow track as well. You have to get momentum and get a rhythm throughout the race, and I think that is going to determine who's going to take the checkered flag this evening. If you can keep that rhythm going, then it's going to be an absolute symphony throughout the Zandvoort track.
Yeah, I think you would definitely know about that cruiser, obviously, on Wednesday night. It's a very good win from yourself, wasn't it? And you're very, it's the second win of the season, was it, after from the first race? So definitely, obviously, a good track of yours. It wasn't too bad a race yesterday for myself as well, finishing P5 in the end. Once you just get a rhythm of where the apexes are, obviously it's a really free-flowing track. As you say, you've got a lot of fast corners, and like the wings, for example, a lot of people sort of debate about this, whether you go higher wings for like the sort of sector 1, sector 2, or try and go for a bit lower for that back straight of sector 3, the bank turn. But I definitely think it's going to be a good race. We know what Pines obviously up for quali. I just hope that he can have a good one in the race. I don't want to see any spinning Mercedes at the bank corners or anything. Uh, but obviously we'll wait and see about that. Tiddlewink up obviously on the front row. And it'd be good to see him give Pines a battle if he can. Maybe obviously fight for the win. He's got one win already this season at Imola. So there's nothing saying that you can't do it again tonight.
Nothing really more to say from Monkey Boy Kurt's comments, as I think we're just really waiting now for the countdown to begin. And as well, before I forget, we do have some drink redemptions from qualifying, courtesy of Diamond. And we also have one more from, if I'm correct, that is Will6592 in the Twitch chat. And a good evening to yourself, Will. Hopefully you're enjoying the race, and we'll get those drinks redemptions sorted. And thankfully Shadows has joined the session again so we can get a strategy ready for the race. And we prepare ourselves for the race also.
Button in the chat, come on the Eagle, supporting his fellow mate, Silverside Boy in the chat. I'm going to say no more on what he said, but you know, you've had better quality performances, that has to be honest. And can we just also let the guys know that David, Lowface, Silverside Boy, and Flat Riders tonight are all together on the piss. Well, Gary isn't at the moment. He might be from his qualifying performance. I don't know. But can we also get some drink redemptions in for them as well? I'm sure they'd love a few good shots now. I think we should get Gary doing shots as he races. That'd be a good idea, I think.
A quick reminder: do not do that in do not do that in like, open world. Do not do that in real life. This is just a video game.
I should have said
Feel
that.
free
Yes.
to do whatever you want. Yeah. A quick disclaimer: we at FPRL do not promote drinking on the job, unless of course it is water. Then we're all in the clear, David. Anyway, we begin our formation lap now, and should have a look at the tyre selection. We did see a bit of a split in both of our races actually across Tier 1 and Tier 3, and Tier 2 is no exception. We're seeing quite a few drivers starting on the hard compound tyres, but everyone in the top 4 starting on mediums. As Junuvane backing off a little bit there at turn 4. Hopefully that's not any problems for the Red Bull. And yeah, a bit of a domino effect actually going through turn 4. We did see that in the Tier 3 race. Technically, I didn't see it. Excuse me, I didn't see that in the Tier 3 race because I avoided it, thankfully. And yeah, just also looking in the chat as well, Shadows is saying it won't let him take control of his car. Oh dear, that's not good.
I think it will. It's happened to me when I've been kicked up before the race. It normally lets you take over just before the actual race starts, so before the lights come on, when it sort of like does that sort of connection from the end of the outlap to the start of the race where the lights come on. Since he said he hasn't got any strategy or anything sort of, which is unfortunate, but unfortunately that's what the game does. So hopefully when you get up to the line, it should let you then take control. Cruiser, should we do the fastest grid rundown we've ever seen?
We can try.
Right, hold on then. Right, let's go. I'll just do the first 5. Right, so we've got Twins in 15th, racing for Mercedes tonight. 14th, coming in from Tier 3 is TS9. 13th, we've got More Leader in the Ferrari. 12th is Silverside Boy in the McLaren. And 11th is Shadows in the other Williams. Cruiser the top 10. Go, 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 go.
Okay, we got Tijim in the Aston Martin, 9th is Diamond, the Tier 3 fraud, 8th place Bolly, 7th place Junuvane, P6 is Edo, 5th place is Phenom, 4th place Junuvane, 3rd place is the Dutchman of Kloetsjack, and on the front row this evening we've got Tiddlewink and IFC Pines. We've got an absolutely horrible camera angle for the run towards turn 1, and Tiddlewink, oh you're an absolute fraud, you've jumped the start, so that's going to easily, actually no it's not, it's actually bogged him down off the start, but we are underway in Zandvoort, and we're almost 4 wide going through turn 1, but Pines is unscathed as we got a bit of a traffic jam in the middle of turn 1, but Pines leads him through Kloetsjack up into 2nd place, Junuvane in 3rd, Tiddlewink, despite that jump start, down in 4th. That's not ideal for one of the Alpha Tauris. 5th place is LW Shorty, making up places off for the start, as well as the Ferrari of More Leader. Really strong start for them. Then we've got Phenom, Bolly, Twins. What a start from him, from the back of the grid up to 9th place already, and Diamond in the points in 10th. But I'm not too sure what's happened at the start. We see Eagle as well getting bogged down as well. Might have been caught up in that collision around turn 1, but Pines just stretching his gap a little bit up at the front. It's 8 tenths already between himself and the Alpine of Kloetsjack. Then we've got Junuvane still having to defend against Tiddlewink, the top 4 breaking away from LWS Shorty in 5th, and as well we've got a potential overtake here, and we do. Bolly getting past Diamond somewhere, and Twins getting past Alfa Romeo also. Now along the banking towards the start of lap 2, you can have a look at this fight for third, and I see as well, I think LW Shorty is pitting, so he might have carried damage from turn 1, but Pines leading the way. 7/10 clear of Klutschak in second, Junivane in third. We've got Tiddlewind we're on board with right now, right up the back of that Red Bull, but he will have to serve that drive-through in just a few laps time, and Edo in the pits as well with a 5-second penalty, so quite a disastrous start for both of the AlphaTauris here in Zandvoort.
Yeah, it was a bit of a scrappy start at the back. Eagle got spun around, he's lost some front wing. I think the same goes for Borley and Yorkie as well. Shadow, I think, because obviously the AI were taking control of his car, had cold tyres off the start. You could see him weaving on the straight on that first lap, and he didn't really have any grip to keep up with the guys in front of him. So he's going to have to try and fight his way back now through the field. But yeah, what a start from Moore leader. A great come up from the field for him, up into 5th at the moment. Tiddlewink, as you already said, Cruiser, with that jump start, and didn't really gain anything from it. If anything, he lost places. So yeah, that wasn't the greatest start in the world. But I'm interested now to see if Pines can break this second to Klutschak, because I know the Dutchman will be wanting to have a really strong race today. And if he can keep within that second to Pines, there is no doubt that he is going to be all over the back of him if he gets that DRS to be trying to get in that first place.
And as Tiddlewind is serving the drive-through, that's going to drop them right down to 12th place. And as well, mentioning too, as long as Klutschak can keep within the DRS of Pines, he can keep within touching distance and keep him honest. And that is a virtual safety car here. I'm not too sure what's happened for it to have been. What's what I'm looking for here? To have been. I don't know. I've completely lost what word I'm trying to find.
TS9's gone around at turn 3, turn 4. Gone into the barrier, smashed his front wing off. Yeah, maybe a bit of an early call for a virtual safety car, but it's come out regardless. And Yorkie's back in the pits down to 15th again, so I don't know whether he's done something. Oh, and Pines!
Oh, Pines has got a drive-through!
What a fraud!
Oh, Klutschak dropped it as well! He's out!
Oh, no. Oh, Klutschak!
Oh.
Oh, dear.
What has just happened? The hometown hero is out of the race, and the poleman of Pines getting a drive-through under the safety car. He's done what Stotsman done in the Tier 3 race. He's absolutely bottled it, and it's put him down now in 9th. Is he getting ahead of Tiddlewink? He's just ahead of Tiddlewink. So now the front row of the grid for the start of this race, both of them have had drive-through penalties, and that means now Junivane leading the way with a 3-second gap to Moore leader in second, Phenom in third, and Twins as well. We've mentioned as well Moore leader, giving him praise. Tiddlewink deserves just as much as well. Up into 4th place on those hard compound tyres, and is within DRS range of Phenom. Diamond up in 5th, Tidgham in 6th, Silverside Boy 7th, and Shadows, despite not having control of his car or deciding his strategy, is making it work for now at least, up in 8th. And we're only not even 5 laps into this race, and already it's been shaken up and turned on its head. But Junivane heading the field to start said lap 5, and he's pulling all the more clear ahead of Moore leader, who's got to defend now against Phenom. The DRS pull for the Alfa Romeo. It's the Italians fighting on track. Who's going to give up field first? It's going to be Phenom. It just backs off of that particular fight, and the Ferrari fighting away with the Alfa Romeo. And now it's the Mercedes who's slowly reeling in both of them. And Diamond, he's actually keeping up pretty well with Twins despite being the tier below. But I think Diamond is, as I mentioned in qualifying, getting a bit of a taster for what Tier 2 has in store. And I think we've all had an idea of what Tier 2 has to offer. The unexpected, and with just over 30 laps left to go, it's going to be a very long 30 laps if the first 5 was anything to go by.
Yeah, There's now Phenoms trying to have a good go now at Moorleader. Moorleader looks as if he hasn't got the pace that Phenom's got. Phenom now through them in that second DRS zone. And now he's getting all over the back by Twins, who has to be said has just come back in his first race in a few weeks. He's doing very well at the moment, taking advantage of all these drivers that are making mistakes up into fourth, and now can he get up into third? He's got Diamond all over the back of him as well. He's in a Ferrari sandwich at the moment as he pulls out. We're going to have 3 wide going into turn 1. I think we are. And here's Diamond going down the middle of them both. This would be a great overtake if he could make the both. Brownie outside. Can he hold it there? He's still there just, but Twins holds on to the position. And Moorleader drops 2 places in one straight. Doesn't look like he's got a lot of pace now on those medium tyres. Absolutely gutted for Klutschak. I think I definitely cursed him. You can blame me for that one, mate, because we all know how much he wanted to have a good race. Shadow is in the pits, just coming out again onto a fresh set of hards, maybe trying to take them to the end. It's going to be very difficult to take them 29 laps, but it is possible. And Diamond Twins is round. Maybe, don't know if that was any contact with Diamond or if he just spun himself, but there you go, another commentator's curse there. I've really got to stop talking here, Cruiser.
I don't think that's your fault. It's just a matter of coincidence. And Tidjum, it's a matter of the Constructor Championship as well, with Silverside Boy still down in 6th place. He's just stopped past Moorleader, and Tidjum now up into 4th place. And as you mentioned as well, Moorleader, I think he might have burnt out his tyres a little bit too soon, despite making that brilliant start. He's just slowly starting to waterfall down the field, and now Silverside Boy within DRS range of the Ferrari. He knows he's got to get rid of Moorleader as soon as possible. As Tidjum as well, he's not got DRS range on Diamond, and it's a bit of a field spread also. But Silverside Boy getting very antsy behind Moorleader. Tried over on the outside of turn 4, looking for the slingshot and the cutback towards the run. Towards the downhill sections of turn 8. He's in the slipstream. He's just not close enough though. This isn't really an overtaking place. You see as well, he's Moorleader really struggling for grip here and traction going through these faster corners, and Silverside Boy a bit slidey as well, having to bide his time, but he's definitely chewing at the bit behind that Ferrari. Now looking for a cutback through this middle sector in turn 10, but Moorleader parks that car very nicely at the exit. He doesn't allow Silverside Boy to get the run down towards the stadium section, but Silverside Boy did think about it in towards turn number 11 and now turn 12 as we got a yellow flag in sector 2. I think Twins made another mistake, has he? He has, he's dropped it again going around turn 10, but still no front wing damage, but there's certainly been a lot of damage done to Twins' race, and Silverside Boy looking to inflict more damage onto Moorleader, who's just been falling down the order, and Silverside Boy, it's not making it easy. Moorleader against Silverside Boy, but Silverside Boy does finally get past that Ferrari a lap later than he would have wanted, but it's 5th place for him. And next up, he's got to try and chase down Tidjum, and that's 2 seconds now between himself and the Aston Martin. And you see as well, Pines and Tiddlewink really want to make amends off of those earlier mistakes, and Pines is going to send it in towards turn 8. That's a very bold move from the Mercedes, and Moorleader as well, he's just falling like an anchor through the field. And now Tiddlewink wanting to get past as quickly as possible as well, as we got a yellow flag in sector 1. I think that needs no explanation. Oh, Twins has beached it on the turbo turn 4.
Oh, he's got out of it.
Oh. Ooh, just avoids TS9, but this race, I think, is the definition of could it get any worse? Indeed, it has got much worse for Twins, making that really strong start. It's now just been an absolute whimper for one of the Mercedes. But speaking of Mercedes, Pines sizing up Silverside Boy down the main straight. This isn't really an easy track to get an overtake done. The Silverside Boy using that battery to defend against the Mercedes. He's closing all the time on that McLaren, looking for the cutback around turn 1. But he's just not close enough, so Pines is going to have to sit back for a little bit longer, as Moorleader, I think, has decided he's had enough of the mediums and has now pitted for a set of hards. Could he take these to the end of the race? I'm not too sure. I think he might be a bit touch and go, but we did see in the Tier 1 race, I believe, if I'm correct, it was Lexus who took these tyres around 30 laps, so it is possible, but it's not going to be easy, or any more easy for the Ferrari from here on in.
Silverside Boy's got on the curb. the butt in there. He really got that curb is really bad. As soon as you put a couple of wheels on it, you can't even turn the car. It just sort of aquaplanes almost your car off, and he's just gone straight on. Paulette Pines through in the process, and now Pines can set his sights after TJ ahead in fourth position. Tiddlewink just behind, so the top two on the grid now back up to fifth and sixth. Just interested looking at the gaps between TJ Diamond and Phenom, and Phenom looks like he's slightly pulling away just very slightly from Diamond as we got another yellow flag, and Twins is
And
retired in the pits.
Twins is out, and Tiddle went diving into the pits there. I wonder if he was expecting a safety car, but that is not the case.
Yeah.
So that's now meant that Silverside Boy up into 6th place again, making a slight bit of amends for that mistake as we got a yellow flag somewhere.
TJ's round. TJ's
oh,
round.
Tidgham. Oh dear.
Yeah, he was going quite well. He's keeping up with Diamond in fourth position, but he spun it on that turn 3, which can really catch some people out. Still in 6th place, so it's not the end of the world. But now it is. Oh no, these curses are really bad tonight, as he's knocked part of his front wing off as well, and will have to now come in the pits. But those hot tires from the spin before is clearly attributed to that. Now without the downforce on the front wing, he might be okay, as more leaders also gone round. A lot of cars now going out and spinning and making mistakes. They've got to be careful. Borley now past TJ. Actually, no, they're still fighting. Actually, TJ with a broken wing still fighting, but then concedes the position to Borley. But Pines now will set his sights after Diamond instead of TJ. And like I was saying just before that all happened, Diamond looks like he's just dropping slightly back, as you would expect, being a tier down from Phenom. Maybe a couple of tenths a lap, but Ginny Vane at the moment looking very strong in first place, a 6-second lead, and he won't be wanting any safety cars, I don't think, because he's got a very nice lead gap behind him to Phenom.
Indeed, but you would argue as though with Junivane on the mediums, Phenom on the hard compound tyres, a safety car around this point would really benefit. Looking at Junivane and as well Diamond and Pines, both of which will also running on the mediums, and we will keep an eye on this gap between Pines and Diamond, which is currently 2.3 seconds, 2.2 seconds now. It's actually falling all the time as we got another yellow flag around turn 4. I think Tidgham's had a bit of a collision. He has more than a collision. He's had a really bad incident there with the Ferrari of More Leader, and much like Twins in More Leader's case, been a really strong start, but it's been a whimper ever since. But it's an absolute charge for Junivane. That Red Bull just growing ever stronger in this race. 6.2 seconds clear of Phenom in second place. But I think around this point, those hard compound tyres will start to come into their own. And still, both of these drivers will have to make their pit stop later in the race. So anything can happen from here on in, as we see Edo getting rid of those softs. 10 laps on those soft compound tyres. I believe that might be for a set of hards for the remainder of the race. As well, I mentioned too here, Diamond, he is keeping up. He is keeping everyone honest in the top half of the field, but Pines is really keeping that Ferrari honest and making sure he keeps an eye on his mirrors behind him. He's gained half a second on this lap alone, so he is going to be within touching distance in just a few moments. And TS9's out of the race around turn 3. And, well, we did mention a safety car might benefit Junivane. Indeed, it has Junivane. He's just got in the pits in time to make that pit stop. And we're going to see two Diamond and Pines making their pit stop also. So Phenom will take the net lead of the race. But where is Junivane going to emerge in the field? And as well, Silverside Boy in the pits as well. So that's going to be a bit of an interesting call here. He might be thinking of a potential 2-stop race from here on in.
Yeah, well, Ginny Vane, I mean, I was saying before that maybe he didn't want it because he'd lose his lead, but your point as well, Cruiser, that he'd obviously, be able to switch onto the hard tyres. He's basically had a free pit stop because, much fresher tyres now than Phenom should easily breeze past him on the restart. The same with the top five really. I mean, Ginny Vane, Diamond, Pines, and Silverside Boys lost one place, but they've all really had kind of 3 pit stops there, with everyone obviously making mistakes earlier in the race. So they've been able to benefit here. TS9, unfortunately, yeah, I think he spun around at turn 4. A lot of people seem to be going off there. Maybe it's not because they've got enough rear wing on. Maybe they're just losing the back end. But does mean that everyone obviously bunches up again. And as you look at the tyres, yeah, people like TJ Morley, Borley, all on the softs. Not sure that's the best option to go on. You'll get through the field on the first maybe 2 or 3 laps, but then they'll just start to go off and you will have to pit again. Yeah, definitely the people that look the favourites here. Juno, Diamond and Pines in second, third and fourth. And Silverside Boy on the mediums, but yeah, you won't be able to take them to the end, so you will have to stop again. Be interesting to see Yorkie, actually. Yorkie might make up a few places. He's got Borley in front of him, as well as Shadow on 7-lap-old hards. Obviously, Silverside Boy on the mediums, and Phenom leading on 13-lap-old hards as well. So I'd be surprised to see Yorkie make a few places up. He still could be on for a podium, depending on what the guys in front of him do. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be now a good race between Juno, Diamond and Pines. Let's see how long Phenom can hold these guys up for.
Should mention as well though, despite having the fresher tyres, the tyre warm up on these hard compound tyres, it's definitely not the easiest thing in the world. But a track like Zandvoort, at the same time, it could help that there's so many corners that they're going to be getting a lot of temperature in their tyres very quickly, but as well, all the more likely to make a mistake. Hopefully that isn't a foreshadow in any way, and no one indeed makes that mistake. But as well, Tiddlewink, he did make his pit stop just a few laps before. I believe it was a yellow flag involving twins who did retire in the pit lane. But he dived into the pits expecting a safety car or virtual safety car of some description. It didn't work from there. But even despite that, he's still behind Pines. Although on slightly older tyres, could argue maybe that the tyre warm-up might be that little bit easier because he's got some tread on those tyres. And he might be... Oh, he was getting a bit close there to Pines. Was a bit too close, too early. Oh, Tidjum. Oh, it just went all wrong for Tidjum. And is now out of the race. So now, Silverside Boy, not one to put a curse on him as much as I don't want to. This could be his chance now to help McLaren take the lead of the Constructors' Championship. With Tidjum out of the race, right now, as things stand, 8 points for 6th place. McLaren could take the lead going in towards Monza next week.
Yeah. Silverside Boy, like you said, needs to do is finish 7th, and 8th will obviously put them level, but 7th will put them ahead, depending on if he gets the fastest lap or not. That is, but yeah, TJ he was going all right near the start. Was just behind Diamond in 4th, but looks like he's spun catching up to the safety car, and maybe thought, that's it now, I'm not going to be able to catch up. If he had pitted then, he would have been lapped, so he would have just been stuck behind this lot, so there probably wasn't much chance of him gaining any more positions, so which is why he's retired. More leader is now caught up to the back of the pack, so we have 11 runners, which means if we have one more DNF, everyone will be guaranteed a point today. It's still racing, but yeah, Shadow, look, we said 9 laps, so he's been on those tyres since lap 6. I know Lexus did it last night, took them about 30 laps, and I think yourself, Cruiser, it took them quite a while in your race on Wednesday, but they'll definitely be screaming at him by the end of the race if he does stay out on them.
Yeah, I did take not one to add to that particular topic, but I believe I took my tyres 26 laps, and they still felt okay by the end of the race. But Phenom needs to make this the absolute perfect restart, and we're back underway here in Zandvoort, and he does have the jump slightly on Juno Vane, but Diamond definitely has the slipstream and the jump on that Red Bull going towards turn 1. Phenom weaving, trying to get temperature in those tyres. Diamond putting a lot of pressure on Junivane going around turn 1, but Junivane does have the inside line and does hold second place for now, but Diamond definitely looks as though he's got the better condition in those tyres as we're underway for lap 16, and Yorkie's out. Oh, he's dropped it at turn 4, and we did mention behind the safety car, if one more driver retires, everyone's guaranteed to score points. Unfortunately, it was the man that you pitched for a podium.
I might as well not commentate anymore, Cruiser. Every single person I mention is just binning it. Literally. Just might as well just keep my mouth shut. It's about 4 drivers now that have binned it. I said they'll be having good races. Unlucky for Yorkie. Yeah, it does mean now everyone's going to score points. And Phenom still staying ahead of Ginu for now. Diamond as well. Hold on to the pack. There seems to be a little bit of a train forming. Obviously, Phenom won't have the pace on those 15-lap-old hards. Junivane's just waiting for that DRS, I think, to come in, as it is very difficult to overtake if you don't have any DRS help around Zandvoort. The only real overtaking spot is the back straight. You can do it in the DRS zone in Sector 2, but it's a bit of a short straight. It doesn't give you that amount of time really to get really alongside unless you get a bad run out the corner. And obviously where they are now after the banked hairpin, could be an overtaking opportunity, but it's very narrow through there and it'd be very risky to try and make a move on that part of the track.
Mentioning that overtaking could be difficult, but Bolly made it very easy against Shadows in towards turn 1. The Alfa Romeo getting past the Williams is now up into 7th place, and More Leader gets a 3-second penalty. And should mention as well though, Bolly carrying a 5-second penalty. I think that might have been for speeding in the pit lane. And yeah, that will have an impact because he is running on those soft tyres. There's no way he can get them to the end of the race. We're just approaching half race distance, so he's got to manage around 20 laps on a set of softs, which is going to be a little bit ambitious to say the least. So that 5 seconds will hinder him in his next pit stop. And as we start lap 18 here in Zandvoort, that gap at the front, 0.4 of a second between Phenom and Junivane, but Junivane has made his pit stop, Phenom has not. So that DRS advantage along with the fresher rubber is going to help Junivane, and it might help Diamond out in that attack against Junivane, but more importantly that defence against Pines and Tiddlewink, and Tiddlewink too getting very close to the back of Pines, but Pines getting ever closer towards Diamond. He's going to try and repeat what he done against Diamond's teammate in towards turn 8. We're still wheel to wheel here in towards turn 9. Phenom still leads him through. Junivane in second, but who's going to be third place? It's still going to be Diamond for the moment. Pines got a little bit antsy, got very ambitious though behind the Ferrari. It just didn't quite work out, but that's going to allow Tiddlewink to get all over the back of the Mercedes. But Diamond and Pines, they can't afford to fight too much, otherwise they might lose the DRS advantage to Junivane.
Yeah, exactly, that's the thing. And Junivane now trying to get onto the back of Phenom, trying to get a good run out of the last corner. But as we said, that Phenom's actually doing very well actually at the moment on those older tyres to keep the guys behind him. They're not really gaining much in terms of the mid-lap, so I wonder whether Phenom's got a bit higher wing and he's able to have a bit more downforce and a bit more turn into those corners. Great battling there from Diamond and Pines as well. I think Diamond, is, in terms of a racer, is probably one of the best in the whole league actually. It will take pace out the window obviously because of tier 1s, but he is so good. But here it comes again!
Oh!
This is what I mean. Trying to make a overtake through that section of the track is very risky, and Pines was almost in the barrier there. I don't think that was any fault of Diamond's, as I just said he was one of the best racers in the league, which I still believe. Whenever really do you see him DNF or make a mistake on his own accord? Not very often, but yeah, I mean at the moment looks like also he's out of DRS range of Junivane, so maybe we're going to see these two at the front now maybe pull away a little bit.
I'm glad you're out of that final part in towards Diamond, DNFing on his own accord. Looking back to Imola, still get flashbacks. Anyway, Anyway, back to the racing though, and you did mention as well, Diamond is, although narrowly out of DRS range, still out of that DRS range of Junuvane and Phenom, so he doesn't have that weapon at his disposal to fight against Pines. But I wonder if Pines has learnt his lesson. I imagine he hasn't. He's got his ERS on full, but this time Diamond is more aware to that. He's more aware to that overtake from the Mercedes, the one that nearly took Pines out of the race, and another massive snap of oversteer. Going through turn 9, just keeps it under control. That's going to allow Tiddlewink through, and now Silverside Boy wants to stick his nose up the inside of Pines, but it's just not close enough to make that work. But looking for that switchback on the run towards the stadium, and I think Pines has that one under control. But all this fighting as well is really hurting Pines' tyres. But he is still going to be within DRS range of Tiddlewink, who's now decided, okay Pines, you've had your turn against Diamond, now it's my turn to mount a challenge on the Ferrari, and I think this one's going to be a little bit easier for Tiddlewink. Diamond a little bit defenceless in the end. He's got no ERS and he's got no hope to defend against Tiddlewink, and despite having that jump start at the beginning of the race, Tiddlewink making amends of that, he's now up back into the podium places.
Yeah, he's come back well to the wing. No mistakes from him since obviously that jump start. But yeah, he's definitely coming back well. Pines must be getting very frustrated behind Diamond. Really trying to get the move done, but each time he's just getting a bit of oversteer, and he's almost putting himself out of the race. And you know, he is one for a DNF, it has to be said, so he doesn't want to do that again, because you know, Shadow is 7th. He's slowly climbing up, and Silverside Boy's got a pit soon, so he will gain another place as well. This could be very tight at the top of the championship. Phenom, though, at the moment, I have to say, he's doing a fantastic job keeping Ginny Vane behind. Difficult now for Phenom. Does he try and long this out and hope for another safety car? Or does he come in a roundabout? Well, he would come in roundabout now if he was going to follow his normal pit strategy. It's around about 21, 22 laps for the hards. But I think we might see Phenom here trying to long it out, and he might hope for a safety car so he can then pit again.
Phenom hoping to long it out, and Pines looking to send it in towards turn 1, and that is exactly what he's done, and he's now found himself in front of that Ferrari, back up into 4th, and Diamond, he just doesn't have any ERS to defend. We're seeing as well on his steering wheel, he's got, I would imagine, less than 5% ERS, let alone less than 10%. Seeing the light on the back of that Ferrari shining bright in front of now the McLaren of Silverside Boy, who does have a lot more ERS at his disposal, but like you mentioned, he might need to pit once more. As long as he can carry those medium tyres to the end of the race, I'm not too sure if that is possible. But what could be possible though is seeing Tiddlewink back up into 2nd place. He's now caught right up to Junuvane, and Phenom mentioned as well, doing an absolutely stellar job on those older tyres. I'll actually have a look at the tyre graphic now and see. He's on 12 lap older tyres compared to Junuvane, but he's doing an absolute stellar job against the Red Bull, trying to defend and long it out as long as he can, almost begging, I imagine, at this point for a safety car, doing whatever kind of black magic or prayer in that cockpit of the Alfa Romeo, hoping that Bernd Mailander makes another appearance in this race. And Tiddlewink did think about that move in towards turn 1, he's thought about it in towards turn 3 and turn 4, just a bit too far back though. But the top 3 in this race are definitely getting a little bit more antsy in this order, and I imagine in a few laps, even with Phenom making this pit stop, we might be seeing a few on-track overtakes, as Tiddlewink thought about it in towards turn 9, but that's never really an overtaking opportunity. And it's seen as well, Junuvane got a massive run on Phenom in towards turn 8, but it just isn't really anywhere to overtake around the middle portion of this track. But Junuvane still having to defend against Tiddlewink, wanting a slice of the action, but it's just not close enough in towards the stadium. But as well, these 3 have got to be very careful, because Pines is starting to catch up and is almost within DRS range of the front 3, and Silverside Boy definitely within DRS range of Diamond, who's just slowly starting to dwindle away from the lead group, and Phenom can't weather it out anymore. He's got to make that pit stop now So that means Junuvane retakes the lead of the race on lap 24 in Zandvoort, with Tiddlewink in second, Pines in third. And now we're looking at this fight between Diamond and Silverside Boy for fourth and for fifth. Both of these drivers on the same length of tyre, but Silverside Boy running on the medium tyre, Diamond running on the hard compound tyre. So Silverside Boy has to manage his tyres, but also manage this fight as best as he can if he wants to get past that Ferrari.
Yeah, I think we're in for a lovely battle here now at the front between Junivane and Tiddlewink. Tiddlewink seems like he's got more of a pace than Junivane, even though his tyres are 3 laps older. He seems like he's got more of a... He's hitting the apexes more. Looks very confident around here, but Pines wants to get in on this action as well. As we see on the graphic now, he's 9 tenths behind. He's in DRS range. He's now 7 tenths behind. He will have it going down the final straight, as there's a yellow flag out and it's Borley that's spun. It won't pull any safety car, but here we go then. Here goes Tiddlewink on Junivane. The DRS comes open and Junivane pulls out to try and defend himself, but it looks like Tiddlewink is out of battery, and it also looked like that he's running a lot less wings on that straight, which might explain to us why Tiddlewink seems so quick in the slow corners. He's got a lot more downforce, it would be said, as even with the DRS there, he was only about 2 miles an hour quicker than Junivane. So those wings might hold Junivane in good stead on the final straight, might keep him ahead for a little longer. Pines now getting up towards the back of these two, as Diamond dropped off a little bit now. Silverside Boy battling with him, but Silverside Boy will have to come in again. I'll be very surprised if he can take those mediums 23 laps.
Not impossible, but it's going to be very difficult from here on in for the McLaren as well. Seeing 2 on the little delta in the bottom half of your screen, we've got Pines on 40% of his ERS, Tiddlewink on just over 10%, but Junivane on 50%, so he's definitely got the advantage here. And we're seeing as well on that run towards turn 1, he's draining everything he has at the exit of the banking of turn 15, and that is just helping him keep just to keep that gap safe to Tiddlewink, even though the gap is barely 0.3 of a second between the front two. And Pines as well, he's got all that battery at his disposal as well to mount a challenge against Tiddlewink as Phenom sets the fastest lap of the race. Down in 8th is the Alfa Romeo, but still it can't be ignored that he's done a really good job at the beginning of this race, hoping to salvage something from the remainder of this race. We've got 11 laps to go here in Zandvoort, and that gap between Shadows and Phenom, if he wants to try and catch up, 8.5 seconds, a gap I know all too well, and it is possible to defend against. And Pines has dropped it again! Oh dear, Pines. It was just going too well, wasn't it? He just had to make it that little bit more difficult once again for himself, and that's now put him behind Edo. Tiddlewink's teammate as well, having a really quiet race actually, is Edo. But he now finds himself in 5th and within DRS range of Silverside Boy, but Tiddlewink, this is his chance, but he just doesn't have enough battery, and towards turn 1 he's just a little bit too eager to get that battery, and try and keep up to Junivane. But as well, Junivane, he is losing a bit of that battery all the time, but he is just keeping enough of a gap between himself and Tiddlewink. And if Tiddlewink was clever here, he'd just try and build up his battery for the next few laps and then mount the challenge on Junivane. But I wonder if those tyres do start to fall off. Tiddlewink is on 3 lap older tyres than Junivane. That might be the reason why he's using his battery so soon. It's just to keep up with Junivane, and he might be worrying about dropping out of DRS in just a few laps if he doesn't use that battery at his disposal.
It's difficult because he knows that he's quicker in the midsection. There's just nowhere really to overtake, and when he gets onto the straight, Junivane just got that extra straight line speed, which is keeping him in good nick and keeping him ahead of Tiddlewink, because Tiddlewink doesn't get a great run out of the last corner. It's now 4 attempts. As we look at the graphic, even with DRS we can see that the gap's hardly coming down at all, so it's definitely the wings here that are helping Junivane As you said as well, 3 lap older tyres for Tiddlewink, they might start to go off a bit. And what's also helping him out is that battery as well. He's got a bit more to defend with. Tiddlewink needs to let it recharge a little bit, and he might be taking your advice here, Cruiser. It's gone back up now to around 17, 18, so he just needs a little bit more. And he might be able to use a lot more on the straight and attack. He's still staying within, obviously, that second. And Silverside Boy just a bit further back, still all over the back of Diamonds. He's now going to make a lunge, is he? Diamond made a little mistake coming into the fast right-hander, and Silverside Boy had a look, but it wasn't to be on that occasion. I think Diamond has created a little train as we've got a yellow flag. I think Shadows took a little spin and he's fallen a bit further back. He has, and yeah, Diamond, like I said, creating a little train here himself. Silverside Boy, Eagle and Pines, four teams as well, all together. We'll go back to the front as well. Tiddlewink, a bit more battery this time, but still, it's just not got enough pace on the straight. Just can't get anywhere near Junivane.
Can't quite get near Junivane, but Silverside Boy getting very annoyed at the sight of that Ferrari. Edo's actually decided, okay, have the view of the Alpha Tauri, and he's just soared past Silverside Boy and is now up into 4th place in this fight now for 3rd. The final podium place is certainly going to be one to keep an eye on as well, along with the fight up at the front. And the Alpha Tauris, despite having a bit of a poor qualifying and the poor start to this race, it's definitely starting to gel towards the end stages of the race. And Pines, this is a bit of his forte. Then towards turn 8, just sends it to the inside. But Silverside Boy did see what he tried to do with Diamond and decided, you're not having 5th place off of me. I've lost 1 place already. I want to try and gain that place back as soon as I can. But these tyres might just be slowly starting to fall away from the McLaren. As we just keep an eye on Silverside Boy here in towards the stadium sector. He's just been keeping within range of everyone, particularly Diamond, in towards the final few corners, but he just hasn't had enough to get the overtake done. A similar story with Tiddlewink, who is actually starting to charge that battery up, so he might be thinking a bit long term here, maybe challenging towards the final lap. So Junivane, even though he's done enough so far and Silverside Boy has got rid of those medium tyres, he will probably no doubt go into a set of softs and try and take the fastest lap point away from, I believe it is Bolly who holds that so far, down in 10th. But Junivane, he's done enough defending for now, but with just 7 laps left to go, it's anything but over.
Yeah, and also, I tell you one person that really wants a safety car now, and that is Phenom, because I still actually think with the Delta, he would have taken the lead if everyone was to pit for softs. It would all depend on if they wanted to keep the track position, but he has caught up a lot on those obviously newer tyres, and he's just behind Shadows now for 6th place. He's come back quite well. Tiddlewink now, he's definitely listening to you, Cruiser. He's now got exactly the same battery as Junivane with 38%. He's 2 tenths behind. I wonder if he's going to try and have a go here. He's still not going to have a go yet. He just wants a bit more, it looks like, but he's only got 5 laps left now, and 3-lap older tyres is going to be a bit tricky. As Pines, is he going to have a go at Eagle? Pines having a go at Eagle now into turn 1. They are side by side. Pines on the inside, Eagle on the outside. Will try and hold the speed around the outside, but Pines has the better traction on the exit and is back up into 4th. Diamond is still in 3rd position. I have to give it to him. He is doing very, very well to keep that final podium spot at the moment. But Pines will definitely want to take that off him. He'll want to extend his lead as well to people like Shadow and Phenom, who sit just behind him. He's doing that by a bit at the moment, but he'll want to do it by even more if he can get past Diamond here.
Should mention too, you did mention Shadows and Phenom. That order is now Phenom and Shadows, because these two had an absolute war in Austria, in which Phenom won out on that occasion, and he's won that particular fight again here in Zandvoort. So Phenom, on those fresher tyres, absolutely trouncing Williams, no other word for it. Already getting past and has 1.5 seconds over Shadows. So Phenom, he could be a late challenger for this fight for the podium. And with just 5 laps left to go in Zandvoort, this gap up at the front, still 4 tenths of a second. These two, Junivane and Tiddlewink, putting on an absolutely stellar performance as well. But Diamond, a platinum level performance for the Starlit Red Ferrari, up in third, and he's been tightly dripping on to this place in that final podium spot with both his arms and his legs. He's not letting go of this bear hug hold on third place, but Pines hoping to wrestle that off him as we make the run in towards turn 8. Pines' particular party piece, but it's a little bit spoiled on this lap. He's just not close enough to the back of that Ferrari, but with just a few laps left, he's definitely thinking long term. Going to try and charge up that battery as well. We're seeing 25% on Pines and Diamond barely on 10%. So Pines has all of the weapons at his disposal. He's got all the tools to make the final piece of the puzzle work and make it third place for the Mercedes.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit like, we'll see what it's like after this straight, but I was going to say a little bit like Junior Van and Tiddlewink, rather the car in front maybe just has that more pace on the straight. We're soon going to find out if that's the case now, as it looks like with the battery as well. Pines is getting a good run. He pulls up to the outside. Now, can Diamond keep the inside line? He outbrakes him. Pines around the outside, has the better traction. They're still side by side as we now go into turn 2 and turn 3. Pines gets the move done up into the last podium place, and Diamond down to 4th now. He's done well to try and keep that for as long as he can, but for no more. He is down in 4th. And interestingly, in the chat cruiser, Button's actually saying that Douchey moved over on Eagle and has broke Eagle's wing in the process. So I wonder if we might see a steward's clip for that, potentially.
Of course, the drama could continue at the end of the race and into the steward's room, but I suppose no one really wants to gain a place in the boardroom. Looking at you, Red Bull and Mercedes. But Tiddlewink looking to make up this place on track. We're seeing as well he does have a lot more battery than he did a few laps ago, but now Junuvane has swung the pendulum back in his favour. He's now got more battery, so while Tiddlewink has been charging his battery, Junuvane has been charging up his battery as well to try and defend, and it has worked for now. And with just 3 laps left, it's the familiar tales like Groundhog Day, and Tiddlewink really wants to break this cycle, but Junuvane is just keeping him honest. He's always got an extra car length ahead of that AlphaTauri, and much like Diamond having that stranglehold on third place, Junuvane is definitely not wanting to give up this victory without a fight, and he's certainly giving that fight to Tiddlewink, who's accepted it, and this is going to go down towards the final rounds.
Yeah, with 2.5 laps to go. In the chat, TS9 saying Phenom is creeping up, and he's only about a second and a half now off Diamond and Eagle. I do think he's a bit too far back to make a challenge for Pines. His mediums will be getting quite worn now as well, but could we potentially see him nip into the top 5, top 4? It's very possible. Tiddlewink and Junuvane again going back to the front, and he's got, I think at some point, Tiddlewink, he's got to take a dive because he's only now got 2 laps to get this done. The gap is 2 tenths. This might be the closest he's been. Are we going to see a dive here? It's 2 tenths. It's going to be ambitious if he does. It's getting so close to the back of this Red Bull. We just can't find a way through. I was watching something like this in front of me last night with Lexus and Colin last night in Tier 1, where they just couldn't get past, and it was very much like this, where they just got the DRS and they just couldn't get close enough to make a dive, and this is exactly what's happening here with these two. And look at that though, Tiddlewink has used now all his battery trying to get past on Junuvane. Junuvane's still got 17%, so I think we've got 2 laps to go here. Junuvane though has held him off for a good 10-15 laps, and at the moment, if he can still keep what he's doing, he is going to take this race win here. Tiddlewink has got to try and get close on this last final straight and maybe take a dive, but he won't want to be too rash because he won't want to take away himself 18
we've had a collision
points.
at the back! We've had a collision further back, sorry to cut in their kart, but Phenom has made a collision with Edo going around turn 10, so Phenom did actually get past Edo and all that, but Edo did get sent spinning round as we're going to make the jump up to the front now to start the final lap here in Zandvoort. Junuvane, the light at the back of that Red Bull is flashing. He's now below 10% ERS, but he's always had just enough to keep Tiddlewink back, and it's Just one more lap left for Tiddlewink to make that almighty Hail Mary dive that he has to make on that Red Bull if he wants to get first place. And just with barely a lap left, we still have drama to go, and Silverside Boy still hasn't took that fastest lap away. He's now up into 7th place, and Edo is actually retiring from the race. That's a bit of an interesting call there from Edo. He's only going to score 1 point as opposed to what could have been potentially 6 he would have gotten if he would have stayed in 6th place or even got 7th place in the end. But the fight between 1st and 2nd place, Junivane and Tiddlewink, the pressure has been on for the pair of them. Who is going to track first? And the simple answer is neither of them. They've both held their nerve. They've put on an absolutely brilliant race. And Tiddlewink, he's out of fuel!
He's out of fuel!
Tiddlewink's out of fuel! So Junivane is going to take the victory. We've been denied of a grandstand finish, but one would argue it is a bit more of a grandstand finish, a strip worthy of a Hollywood film, and the hero in Tiddlewink, it's just lost out in the end. Junivane takes the victory here in Holland. Tiddlewink, an almighty kryptonite challenge, but just fell apart at the final few corners. My heart goes out to Tiddlewink, but 2nd place is nothing to be ashamed of. And especially after that jump start, 2nd place I think is what you would have bit your arm off for actually. And Pines as well, another mistake, getting that drive-through penalty under the early. VSC takes 3rd place, and Diamond Douchey, what a performance from him, taking 4th, and he didn't make it easy for those around him. And Phenom 2 in 5th place. It all fell apart at the safety car for Phenom, but still a very, very strong performance to recover for P5. Then we've got Shadows in 6th place, Silverside Boy in 7th, Morley they're taking 8th, and it's going to be Bolly coasting it around the final corner.
Yeah, I think
and
he's
going to claim it in
cruiser.
9th.
He's got a front left puncher.
Oh dear. It's just not went well for Bolly in this race, and Edo will store points despite not finishing the race down in 10th. Well, that does it for our week in Zandvoort, and simple way of putting it, what a race that was.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, great race from Diamond, obviously, stepping up to the plate tonight from Tier 3. We know really that he's probably is Tier 2 pace, but still a great performance from the Ferrari. Junivane as well, holding off Tiddlewink. It might have been a very exciting finish if Tiddlewink did get past and then ran out of fuel near the end. That would have been extremely unlucky if that had happened, but he did very, very well to hold on to the win, and I think fully deserves. I think actually he's the only driver today that hasn't really made a mistake. Everyone else has either had a jump start or a drive through or spun off. I don't remember Junivane making a mistake today. It's a very solid race, a bit like the one that he had at Silverstone. He had to hold off the drivers behind for quite a few laps, and he's done it again today. Proves that he can do it when the pressure's on. I know sometimes we've said that he's prone to an odd DNF maybe, but it seems like he's getting a bit better at it now, and it's another 25 points for him in the championship.
Indeed, a race full of mistakes, but make no mistake about it, a Red Bull once again taking the checkered flag in 1st place around Zandvoort, and this time it's not quite the Dutch Lion, instead it is the Finnish native of Junivane taking the victory with Tiddlewink, an almighty charge, and just 1 lap too much for Tiddlewink in 2nd place. His car didn't give up on him, his fighting spirit was strong, but he just didn't have enough fuel to make it to the checkered flag. And Pines as well in 3rd, Diamond 4th, Phenom 5th, Shadows in 6th. And actually, before we forget real quick, I'll just get the Twitch screenshots. Oh dear.
I've already done it, mate. I've already done it.
I got it on the broadcast just in case, before I forget.
Right. Before I forget,
dear.
let's get those podium sitters in the chat. Oh yeah, Pines won't. He never likes to talk to us. But
Yeah.
actually, I don't know if Junior's going to get actually either, because I know he doesn't normally talk. So we'll get Tiddlewink and see what he has to say.
I suppose idolising Kimi Räikkönen in a way, just as cool as ice, and getting bathed in refreshing Champagne, Junivane taking the win. In Zandvoort, Tiddlewink second, and Pines did recover as well and taking third, stretching his championship lead up at the top. But mentioned as well, Shadows as well taking 7th place, so he's not lost too much ground, but still it could have been so much better for the Williams as we just wait for our podium inductees to join the party, and we'll get a quick glimpse of the Mercedes. There you go, there's your glimpse of the Mercedes. And then we'll jump over to the AlphaTauri, actually, because we do have Tiddlewink in the party for this evening, and we just wait a few more moments to see if any other drivers will join us, or it is just going to be a sole interview with the AlphaTauri of Tiddlewink. But as well, I will have to say also, and Tiddlewink saying it might be echoing, that's not a problem. We will be, just as long as we may be able to hear you, it should be okay. And Shadows redeeming drink and Cotom's drink redemptions. Might as well get that out of the way with.
Yeah, we'll get that out of the way with, yeah. I think Ginny was obviously going to join. I have just messaged him saying, have you got a message for the lads today about your win? So hopefully he comes back with something he can share on the stream. I know obviously Pines never has a mic, the fraud. So I guess you might as well just get on with our second place Man Cruiser.
Might as well, and I think it would be only fitting if you could take us for an interview with our P2 driver this evening, Tiddlewink.
Of course, mate. Yeah, make sure you got your audio included, Tiddlewink. But yeah, strong quali. I think you must have thought you had pole. Pines just got in front of you at the end, but nevertheless, it was a great quali session. Did you expect to be that high up today?
Actually, the only idea is his mic plugged in. Oh, this isn't a good start. But I think he's just giving. Do you know what he's doing? He's giving us the STID treatment. That's what he's doing. He's just playing it off, no words, and I think it may actually be no words for Tiddlewink. Completely distraught, both from qualifying, just narrowly missing out on pole, and narrowly missing out on that race win. But hopefully, we do get that get his microphone sorted as soon as we can, and we get to hear from Tiddlewink. But I suppose good a time as any to really ask before we do end off our broadcast this evening. Any candidates for driver of the day? Then feel free to, feel free to chip a few names in, because I think there's quite a few candidates for this evening, isn't there, Kurt?
There is a few candidates in there. I don't know whether you want me to give it now or if we wait until Tiddlewink can get his mic sorted, maybe. Oh, I'm seeing some flashing on his gamer tag, on his gamer picture in the party chat, but can't hear anything. So I don't know. It's not like we're gonna get anything, unfortunately. But yeah, I guess might as well give you my drive. Oh, okay.
Oh, there we go. Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Finally.
Right. Okay.
There we go.
We've got some sound at last. Right. Tiddlewink, obviously P2 in quali. First question obviously was, it was unlucky for you that Pines just got in front of you at the end of quali, but did you expect to be that far up there? It was a very good time from yourself.
No, I didn't do much practice to be fair this weekend. But I don't know, Zandvoort's an alright track for me, but not one of the ones I'd expect to high up,
Yeah, I mean, obviously it looked like a strong. Obviously, we saw at the start that you got that drive-through. You must have literally gone just before the lights went out, because unless you sort of put the brakes on to try and stop yourself, because we said that if anything, you didn't really get an advantage from that jump start. So was that literally the case? Just literally before the lights, and maybe try to put the brakes back on again?
Yeah, I was kind of a bit shocked when I did it. I didn't. basically, I wasn't even like a case of going early. Like, I just went to get the revs down a little bit so I could get it onto 10,000. I accidentally dropped the clutch. I didn't expect it, so I kind of like stopped a little bit.
Yeah, and obviously that sort of hindered you from the start, but you did well to come back up the grid with the
Me
help
and
of
Pines are flying.
Yeah, you
Through the
usually
track, we
did
just
your
go
net
for
very
everyone.
quick. Yeah. Obviously, there was a couple of drivers obviously that made a few mistakes, which obviously allowed you to get back up there. But I guess the main question that I'm going to ask is obviously your fight with Ginny Vane at the front went on for laps and laps and laps, and it just looked like he just didn't have the straight line of speed. I'm assuming you were running quite high wings tonight.
Yeah, I was actually running your setup, Monkey Boy.
Oh, okay, you're just going to blame me then. You didn't win then.
No, I ran your setup. I literally tried it like an hour before. I really liked it, got on with it, and then I basically on my tyres there were like 67% at the end, so I basically had no tyres to work with. I don't know how I lost my fuel because I went at least a kg extra, so I don't know how I lost it. My revs, but yeah, at the end I was trying to battle really hard, but I just couldn't do it. I was gonna make the dive bomb. You kept on saying the dive bomb, but my previous history of dive bomb not great.
But yeah, I thought you might have took a dive near the end, obviously with the laps counting down. I think at one point you got to about 2 tenths, but obviously it was always at risk that if you got knocked around, you'd lose the second place and the 18 points. But nevertheless, it's a great result from yourself. Obviously, your second best result of the season to that win that you had in Imola. So very well done to
I
you
had a good
tonight.
result in Miami as well, but I got a penalty.
Oh yeah, we'll forget that as well. Back on the podium, so very well done to you, mate. Cruiser, have you got anything to add?
Nothing really, apart from I think all of our hearts went out for you at the end, as just looked as though your fighting spirit was not in question, but the fuel in your car to the wind, it just gave up at the final moments.
I knew I kind of didn't think I'd get as close as Junior Vane at the end anyway, because I got like 2 tenths behind him. So I was kind of impressed that I even got that, because I was quite strong around this track. And I found like I was putting more power down through the exit points, and I was right behind him, but I just didn't want to make a move and mess something up again, so I kind of laid back on the overtake. So I'll take a P2 after spinning out. Well, not spinning out, but getting a drive.
Enough. I think there's really much more to mention or to say apart from just well done in general to Tiddlewink, our P2 driver in Zandvoort this evening, and as we get the Red Bull up on screen to commemorate the winner of the race, Juno Vane, who sadly can't join us along with Pines for post-race interviews. I'll throw the question out to Monkey Boy Turt. After a bit of thinking time, who would you give your driver of the day vote to?
Well, quickly just before, Ginny Vane has sent me a message that obviously I'll read out. So before I do that, so he's put quali wasn't great for him. I mean, to be fair, I think he's putting himself down a bit there. He did qualify P4, so it was a good quali, I thought, but okay. Got a bit lucky with the first few laps with Tidwick and Pine's penalties. Tyres were dead almost the whole race, but he managed to keep Tiddle behind, and I think that was probably down to a bit more wing that was helping him out. Driver of the day, yeah, it's a tough one. Obviously, we've had Pines getting the drive through and spinning and getting back up to third. That was good. Also, yourself, Tiddlewink, got the drive through at the start, came back up to second, but just because of the fact that he didn't really put a foot wrong, and he is today's race winner. I think I do have to give it to Ginny Vane. He did so well keeping Tiddlewink behind as well for that amount of laps. Held his nerve, very much like he did in Silverstone. And for that, once again, he gets the driver of the day for me today.
I suppose there are quite a few candidates for the evening, but the winner of the driver of the day vote, along with the winner this evening, is Juno Vane. So, with that, I think that's going to round out tonight's broadcast. Just a massive thank you for everyone to tune in and for watching this evening. FPRL will be back this Wednesday, as is usual, with our tier championships as we head off to Monza in Italy, our second track in Italy, and I believe our final track around the continent of Europe. So hopefully it's going to end off in similar fashion as to what it did this evening. Late drama, well, I hope not late drama, just full drama to the end, and hopefully completely unbiased, I repeat the result of what happened in Zandvoort, and I take another victory in Monza. I'll tell you right now, I will not. But I suppose thank you everyone, as I've mentioned, for watching. I suppose a thank you to Monkey Boy Kurt for joining me in the commentary booth this evening, and another one which I thoroughly enjoyed.
It's alright, mate. Pleasure to always be. Commons alongside you. Yeah, it was another good race, and hopefully some more to come in the end part of the season.
Indeed, and I've been Cruiser 1872. Thank you all for watching, and from all of us here at FPRL, good night.